welcome to the review of Champions. Today we are going to talk about Soul, the animated movie currently streaming on Disney Plus. Before we begin, I would like to invite everyone watching or listening in to join us on Sakaar, become a member, chat us up, and who knows, join the podcast or review. You're more than welcome to do so, and we are open to everybody or anybody. We will drop some links down below in the description for you to find us. And well, I wanted to introduce our panel, but today it's a small panel due to certain circumstances. I'm here alone with Taylor First, and I am Sakaar's Grandmaster. Soul is an animated movie made by Pixar Studios for streaming channel Disney Plus. Joe Gardner is in the lead in this movie. He's a music teacher who has a dream of becoming a jazz musician. That seems to be happening, but before it actually happens, he unfortunately dies in an accident, and he's not in agreement with that. And well, in the way he escapes going to the afterlife, the great beyond, as they call it in the movie, where he meets a soul called with number 22. He is pretends to be the mentor of Soul 22, but Soul 22 is a special case. He doesn't want to go to Earth to live. He is fine where he is. Before we dive into spoilers, we first give our quick thoughts, and I will give a spoiler warning before we go further into the movie. But I think it's time for Taylor to talk about the movie first.
Well, I like this movie. I enjoyed it very much. I watched it twice in preparation for the podcast, but I really have nothing bad to say. There's nothing, nothing negative to say about it. All I will say is that I don't think it's as good as most other Pixar movies. It's better than some, but I don't think it's as good as most others. I've seen a lot of praise on the internet that I think maybe more than I would give it. But again, I still have nothing bad to say about it.
Well, I am one of those people who gave it a lot of praise. I think it's one of their absolute best. I absolutely have nothing negative to say about this movie. I loved it from start to finish. The animation is great, the story is great, the characters are great, the voice acting is awesome. It is funny, it is emotional. Yeah, there's a good resounding message in it. Yeah, I loved it from start to finish, and I'm not gonna say anything negative about it. But we are going to talk a little bit more about what we like specifically. So we're now going to do some spoilers. So if you have not seen the movie, but are watching this video, watch the movie first. Come back to this video and see what we think and see if you agree. Well, the part I love the most and the scene I love the most is actually the scene in the tailor shop when his suit is ripped up. And he goes to his mother in the tailor shop and asking her to fix his suit for the gig he has later that evening, where he makes peace with his mom. Actually, yeah, that is amazing, amazingly deep, and I loved it. And that moment, yeah, it was very emotional and. Yeah, that really gave me chills. It was that was my favorite scene in the movie. Another favorite scene of mine is when he's back after the gig at his house, playing the piano and realizing what life is about, basically, and what he has been doing wrong in his life. Always wanting to be somewhere and forgetting where he was, what he was doing. Yeah, that what basically the message of the movie is. What about you?
Yeah, well, those were both great scenes. I think the scene after the gig where he's playing the piano and realizing what life is about, like you said, I think that was probably the best scene for me. Taylor shop scene is also good and emotional. But I think that scene was probably the best one for me. I liked I liked the humor in the movie. It wasn't as humorous throughout as a lot of other Pixar's, but not all. Some other Pixar's have less humor in them also. But it was a sort of a different type of humor than you see in most of the normal Pixar movies, and that's fine. Again, nothing wrong with it. I think the scenes in I'm not sure what they called it, the limbo where the new souls were all hanging out and being trained. I thought those were
before?
Yeah, the great before. Thank you.
Yeah,
The great before, as opposed to the great hereafter.
Yeah.
I think those scenes were quite good and well done, and kind of a creative design for there, as well as the other part where the lost souls were, and the ship was going around hunting the lost souls to try to save them. I thought that was fairly creative without being, overdone. It was very, both of those designs were very kind of Spartan, kind of stoic. There wasn't a whole lot of flash and color and movement and things going on, but they were very simple, and I think they went well with the rest of the tone of the movie. As far as the music goes, I'm not a fan of jazz music, so that part of it didn't strike me at all. But overall, I mean, it's just a good movie. I can't say anything bad about it. Like I said before, I just don't think it had the emotional impact or the entertainment value of. I think the most recent one that is better than this one is Coco, which I think was just magnificent, and this one was just very good.
Just very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I love the animation in those places as well. It was very well done, especially also the contrast between light and dark, between the great before and the place where the lost souls dwell. To me, this is one of the better ones because it actually appealed to me on a personal level, and I can see why other people would prefer other Pixar movies. I have seen Coco on an airplane on a very small screen. Yeah, to me, it's their best since The Incredibles. But that's mainly because it also appeals to me on that personal level, something that Coco did not do. I loved Coco, but I loved Soul much more. It had heart, and here's the joke that everybody sees coming. It had soul, in it. And to me, it was an absolutely amazing movie. And I watched it again today for the second time, and it blew me away just like I did the first time. Personally, I'm also not a very big fan of jazz music, and that is the part that also did not resonate with me as well as it could have been if it was, let's say, rock music or anything. But that's. I loved how they showed the zone where you go to,
Yes.
and that was amazingly done. And I love the little jokes in it. I mean, the little hardware shop, when you see it, they sell 9-inch nails. I mean, all those little references to music in the movie itself were great. And there's one scene I forgot totally about when we were talking earlier, but it's the barbershop scene.
I was just going to bring up the barbershop scene as soon as you stopped talking. Go ahead.
I mean, Des should have his own Disney Plus show where famous people just come to get a haircut and they can animate it and let those famous people voice over. And I think that will be incredibly funny and amazing and can work very well. But I love that scene. I think Tina Fey did a very good job voicing 22. And Jamie Foxx was also amazing as Joe Gardner.
Yeah, I like the barbershop scene because it was funny and mostly in a subtle way, but not completely. And it really had it was the one real scene where a soul that hasn't been born yet and knows nothing about the real world, was really interacting with people, normal people on Earth. And even though he was speaking in very esoteric terms. I may not be using the right word there, but esoteric type terms. Everyone in the shop understood and related to it in one way or another.
Yeah, and projected it actually on Joe.
Exactly.
That was amazingly done, and the realization of Joe when he was his spirit was in the cat, that he actually never talked to Daz about his family before, was the first eye opener for him, I guess. That maybe he hasn't done everything right. And yeah, the realization is that he always wanted to be on the stage and be the jazz musician, and then my life will be good. That in the meantime he forgot to live, and then he realized that there were lots of amazing moments in his life that he did not appreciate enough before, with his mom, with his dad, in nature, views he had. And yeah, that moment, that was to me, that was the best moment of the whole movie, and that was very well done.
Yeah, I especially like when the barber told him that he wasn't able to fulfill his original dream, and then he automatically assumed that he wasn't happy. And if he said, "Well, no, of course I'm happy. Life's not about these particular goals. It's about making the best of wherever you are."
Yeah.
And I thought that was the big eye opener for Joe at that point.
Yeah. Was there anything you didn't like about the movie?
I mean, I really can't say there was anything I didn't like about it. There was nothing, that I rolled my eyes at or thought they shouldn't have had that in the movie. I mean, I could talk about lots of stuff I liked. Another thing I liked was the flashbacks to 22. Was it 22 or 20? 22?
22, yeah.
Yeah, the flashbacks to 22's other mentors. How they were all famous people and they'd all been unable to convince her to step forward.
Yeah, that was funny. I loved the jab they did with the New York Knicks. That was funny.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I love that too.
So I'm not a real big basketball fan, but that was I know that one. So that was really funny. So yeah, no, I overall I also had no complaints about the movie. So if you were to rate it, how high would you rate it?
I give it an 8 out of 10.
An 8 out of 10. Yeah, for me it's a 9 out of 10. I absolutely loved it, and yeah, I can't. Again, The Incredibles was the last movie of the Pixar that I absolutely loved, and yeah, I can't think of any other that appealed to me as much as Soul did. So yeah, Pixar knocked it out of the park, and I consider it maybe even the best movie I've seen in 2020.
Okay. I mean, it was very good, and it had a message that was maybe a little bit deeper than some of the other movies, although there are exceptions, I think. Like Up had a very deep message, just as one example. But as far as just better movies overall, maybe not as deep, but just as more entertaining or more funny. I mean, I could name quite a few Pixar movies that I think are better than this one.
Okay.
All the Toy Story movies. All the Toy Story movies, for example.
Even Toy Story 4?
Toy Story 4 would probably be about the same for me. But like I said, I think Up, I think Coco, I think Bug's Life on a pure entertainment level for me was more entertaining than Soul. Bug's Life is just one of my favorite go-to Pixar movies. I consider this one to be as good or better than Cars or Monsters Inc. or Monsters University. I consider it to be better than Inside Out. I kind of had some issues with Inside Out, so I consider that to be not a bad movie, but lesser of all the Pixar movies, in my opinion, just based on my reaction to it. So Soul is pretty much in the middle of Pixar for me.
Yeah, to me, it's one of the best, but that's just a personal. I read one criticism online that it that the movie wasn't really for kids. And then my response to that was animation does not equal kids movies, but I can imagine if you make a big deal out of dropping a movie on Christmas Day on your streaming service, animation, then people expect it to be directed at kids. Like a lot of Pixar movies are suitable for kids. Soul maybe is a little bit less suitable for kids.
I think Soul is suitable for most kids. I mean, maybe not the very youngest kids, but I would say anything from, your 10, 11,
Yeah, exactly.
10, 11-year-olds and up, I think would have no problem with Soul.
Yeah, but you have to be in your teens, and yeah, like something like The Incredibles, you can enjoy it as well when you're 6 or 7 years old.
Yeah.
Soul was a little bit deeper and less, yeah, what you said, less entertaining in that way.
I think it was less slapstick, less broad humor. Put it that way. It's more subtle humor and deeper message, which is all good. But like you said, the 6, 7-year-olds probably just, I mean, they wouldn't be scared by it or anything, but I don't think they would enjoy it as much.
Well, this concludes our review. Be on the lookout for further videos such as reviews for WandaVision and new episodes of the podcast of Champions. If you like what we do, let us know. And of course, join us on the site. We love to see you there. Bye.